Okay. Have some fun. I'm gonna draw the booty girl. I'm gonna use a kind of a waxy graphite. Do it the Fabiano paper for now because I've never used it before and it's kind of cool. And it's been working pretty good. Do that. I'm gonna use pan pastel. I'm a student. So Glenn's really good at using the chamois, and studied with Glenn for 347 years. So if you do that, you're going to use a lot. Amy. Okay. Gesture. Many people ask me, Sheldon, why do you wear an Alice Cooper t-shirt? I'm going to bring her head down. Um, Huge Alice Cooper fan. I've been since middle school. He's old. Yeah, shtick. He had a shtick. He was fun stuff. Really talented. But I just respected the fact that he had this consistent kind of shtick, kind of trend. And it worked, and all the way through me, even today, he's still putting on concerts. I finally saw him. Very depressing thing happened in high school. I had tickets to go, and then I got sick and couldn't go. Finally got to go when I was older with my daughters and a student from the school, and she got all dressed up as a student. All these old guys dressed like Alice Cooper, and I guess the student, she was a good-looking kid. All these guys was looking at her. I'm like, get out of here. She's young, she's a teenager, but she dressed up, and it was really funny. She was wearing torn jeans and stuff. She was cute. And now it's older, successful. It was fun. Um, there was a student, an old friend from high school, Trisha Ito. I see her on, Instagram and stuff. And we were old buddies, and we were going to go together. That was one of the things we were going to do. It was be fun. We never did. Would have been fun. I'm going to take a chamois. Yeah. Yeah. Where's the thing? Oh, well, here it is. This one's kind of cool. This works. So the whole idea about the shtick, um, I don't know, I have a style. My style of teaching is my style. I don't think anybody else is doing it. Anybody else is crazy enough. But I take a movie, like, I don't know, The Omen or like Beetlejuice, and I just take something from it and twist it a little bit and have fun with it. Law of opposites. Okay, so here we go. Here's a lay-in. It's gonna be all about the drapery, but she has some anatomy showing. Scapula, midline of the back. That comes towards me this way. Immediately to the wave. My blinds blowing. Really pretty outside. Gonna drive you guys crazy. Okay, so we go this way. She's got this really fun drapery coming around. We want to get to the booty, and that's going to be a sacrum. So underneath, you can feel the sacrum. butt cheek showing through. So in this case, we're gonna draw and then put the folds on top. So Alice Cooper had a shtick, and it works. With the shtick, have some fun. I love offensive humor. Grew up with it. You grew up with Don Rickles, um, Robin Williams. Back in the olden days, I mean, like Don Rickles was his whole thing. He was brutal. We're gonna go like this, like this. I grew up with it. It was funny, you know. Everybody laughed at themselves. Today, you know, everybody would be real offended. So I still like it. I think it's funny. It's just so funny. It's so cute. But you know, I laugh at myself. I laugh at my own too. I had a student in the last semesters. Um, told for myself, and I know I speak for us, and I find your lectures to be offensive. I'm going to ask you to stop. I said, I hope you find these offensive. It was really funny because they are offensive. They're supposed to be. Okay, so we're going to do cross contour and then core shadow. And then I'm just going to guide my way. But I'm going to change it. And because I want to show more booty, I want to show more that tucking in here and really show, you know, the tightness, you know. So I'll put a core shadow. And then he has this coming, which is really cool. It really shows the mass. This fold coming down this way. And he's doing it here. You know, it's kind of like this is kind of a symbol. So if we go this way and then we turn it and go that way, and it's real important for animation. So everybody wake up if you're doing that. This goes this way, so it goes away from us, and this goes that way. But in animation, you just put that line in, and then the audience will read it that way. It has to be consistent on 720 drawings per minute if you're doing traditional. But if you're rigging, I mean, if you're modeling, I think you have to, you know, it'd be a good idea to make sure everything fits together and has a design, and it's not going this way and that way. Still need to know how to draw. Definition of drawing is visual problem, vertical, visual. I think that's what I like the most about forensics is that I get to figure things out and then visually represent them, working with the best people on the planet. Amazing people. For reflected light cast. Everything cast equals. The booty fits inside. Now this line can't just stop. There's an old saying, an old story. It's a true story that never happened. There was some astronauts. They're up in the astronaut place thing, you know, the car. spaceship. That's it, in a capsule. They're floating around the world with an old astronaut and a young astronaut. The young astronaut was looking out the window, and the old astronaut said, "What are you looking at?" And the old astronaut said, "They're shooting at us." He goes, "What are you talking about? We're in outer space." So the old guy looked out the window, and he goes, and all these lines were like flying by the capsule, just shooting by random. The old guy goes, we're flying over LA. These are just really bad drawing." So you don't you just let the line stop, it'll just keep going. Just go all over. So this is still a work day and falls, everything stops. Get back to this. When you go back to a drawing after your brain's been kind of cleared out, you do is you go back and hit the landmarks. You notice I start hitting these different landmarks and they get you back into it. Now, this is weird. There's a artist out there, and he's crazy. What is his name? I have his book, and he does a drawing of a woman like similar to this, and she's defecating in a forest. I have to go get the book. Anyway, so I'm gonna go this way, so it doesn't look like she's pooping. I'm gonna bring a foot here. One of the things that I do and have for years, and maybe it helped me in the college class eventually, I try to think of everything that a crazy person would say. So, for instance, I did a cover for a company. It was their product catalog. We made it really wholesome. It was real beautiful. It had a woman holding a little trowel, for working in a garden. It was a kid on a swing and his grandpa. And when I got done, somebody in the company said, "She's a murderer. And the guy who's looking over at the little girl on the swing is a pedophile." And I looked at the person and I went, in my wildest dreams, I never would have thought of this. And I guess all the years in advertising and all the years just instantly hit in my head. What would a crazy person think of? And I think that helped me in the later years of college when, okay, what is that student going to pull out of there and accuse? Because it's just like, what? Never. I never could have. No. But now, you're always thinking. So here, if you draw these lines that coming out of the butt, he's pooping, So what I'm going to do is to bring the lines this way and have the lines wrap around her foot. So like that. Still, if you color it in, if you silhouette, it's still going to look like that. So, I don't know, Pete. Think about that. Yeah, it's crazy that you have to think about all that kind of stuff. What would an insane person accuse you of, of doing in that drawing? Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that whole section. Needed eraser. These are all dirty. There we go. Now I got this nice flow. If you silhouette that, it'll look weird. And then when we just pull it around this way, so it's kind of fitting in this drapery. There we go. House is on the other side of a main street. Your side. We cross contour. I'm gonna keep everything away from that part of the body. That's crazy. Yeah. Work it, work it, work it. So hopefully what you're noticing, is that it's been a little while on this drawing. I'm just starting. Even when you use a kneaded eraser, you're still drawing, you're still putting in cool bitchin' and wave. Pretend this is a light. It just hits the planes that are facing. A sketch. Again, it's a sketch. So hopefully what you're all seeing is that it takes time. I don't like to bill by the hour because I want to do good stuff. I don't want to be pressured and I don't want my clients to be pressured. I want to do good work. Now, if I'm working in-house in the studio, then, of course, you're working by the hour, but gotta be aware of how long it's taking you because, you know, my teacher, kind of reminded me, I totally forgot about this. He used to have me time my drawings. So, just a kid, I used to have to, like, he had me do in-betweens, and I had to write down how long it took, and then he would check and see that, they took less time as I progressed. So there I was, just a kid, and I was already I had to time my drawings and then show them. And then show them a time card. It's just very young, maybe 15. Right from around. So that's attention, that butt cheek, and then you have this butt cheek. Um, I could probably put another on this. So again, this is sketchbooks. Okay, so if you're having a good time, write to Corey and find, let him know what questions you have. Because remember, my goal is to have somebody out there who really wants to be an artist, want to make a living, want to have life as an artist, but like me, could not afford to go to art school. Like me, could not afford to go to college, could not afford to go to college. So this, we get you the information, and you put together that portfolio. You get out there and you're successful, which I've had happen many times in my career. I've had people contact me and say, "Hey, I did it." And it feels so good. And I'm still in contact with people who've had that. From our school, we've had many. So if you want to come by the school, you know, not expensive and it definitely gets you, help you get there. Um, that's the goal. So again, let Corey know you need, because I'm just having fun, but I can actually do a drawing and let it be an area where you're having trouble. Okay. Tell your friends, let everybody know we're doing this, and see you on the next video.